Earful Tower listeners, we're already up to episode 5, and this time we got the guy behind Invisible Paris.
And we got to see the Invisible Man.
And he told us a little bit about the invisible side of this city, and about the book that he's just written. And we talked about everything from Chasseroux, what's that? You'll have to find out in a second, to the old human zoo in Paris.
But don't call them secrets.
Why not? Oh yeah, he didn't like that, did he?
No.
Don't call them secrets, as you'll find out. They're not secrets.
These are for everyone to hear, everyone to learn about.
And on that note, have a listen to the secrets yourself. Oops, I said it again. Have a listen. Here's when he joined us in the studio.
Earful Tower with Oliver G.
Adam Roberts, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
So, we already know who you are, but what I want to know, first and foremost, is what fascinates you about Paris?
Okay, well, I've been in Paris for over 20 years now. So, originally, it wasn't my first destination that I wanted to come to. So, I don't think I had.
What was your first destination?
Well, I wanted to come to France. I'd already been working in France a little bit in summers and things. I had the French girlfriend.
Ah, right. That old story.
We were still together today.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
So 20 years on?
More than 20 years now. So, yeah.
Congrats.
2 kids.
Oh, wow. So you've gone this is a one-way ticket.
Yeah. So
you're a lifer.
But basically in France, you have to go through Paris at some point.
Right.
So, and generally to begin with. So I did the English teaching stuff.
Okay, this is like the traditional... Okay, and how'd that go?
So it's this really great way to get to know a place and the people and how everything works. And once I was here, then I couldn't leave. So Paris just had everything that...
And you're lucky being with a Parisian or a French woman and a Brit.
Yeah, she's not Parisian at all, but
Where's she
were from the southwest.
Okay. So you've got this in. So many people come to Paris and they want to stay here, but you actually can stay here.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah.
And then I guess Paris got under your skin somehow.
Yeah, but at the same time, Paris, I'm originally from quite a small town, and then from a...
Is that a Reading accent?
I don't know.
I
don't think I've any accent.
But we did talk before that you were from Reading. I wanted to make it look like
Reading.
I was talking. There you go. Reading, as some people probably call it.
So, I'm from the small town, and then also from the suburb of a small town, where everything's very ordinary. And
so how old were you when you came to Paris?
25, 26.
Impressionable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Paris with, the huge city, glamour, the best restaurants, the shops and everything like that. It's not really my universe either. So I've never felt entirely comfortable in those areas. So what I found the most interesting about Paris afterwards was discovering all of these other areas. The
secrets. This is what we like on the show.
Yeah.
Secrets invisible.
I don't like using the word secret.
Why not?
So it was something that I avoided.
In your book that we've got here on the...
And from the blog originally. So
right.
For me, it was...
But what's wrong with secrets?
Secrets implies that I have certain knowledge that other people don't, and I'll give it out when I want.
But Adam, I've read your blog and you do have secrets. You're sharing them.
Yeah, but for me, these are things that should be, they're visible for everybody.
Yeah.
And this was the concept of the Invisible Paris blog, was that these things are there, but you just don't see them. So because Paris has so many iconic landmarks, sites, even the architecture, the way the streets laid out, everybody seems to have a vision of Paris in their mind. And so for me it was, what about all these things that don't fit into that? Why do we never talk about these places? And it's not so much about the attractive courtyards that are behind locked doors or rooftop bars that you have to be
These are things that I love, Adam.
Yeah.
But what the things that, for example, the first blog post of yours that I found was the one about the basketball court in I think it's in the 9th.
Yeah.
And you could tell the story better than I could, but it's the oldest basketball court in the world.
That still exists today.
It still exists. Yeah. Like a fossil of a basketball. It's, I don't know, at least 100 years old.
Yeah, over 100 years old.
And it's just sitting there, and I think you can only get in there on those...
Well, it belongs to the YMCA.
Right.
So if you're staying in that centre, which is still in existence, then you've got access to the basketball court. But to the general public, it's during the the Journée du Patrimoine.
And that's when anyone can go into
Anyone
these
can
old,
go in, yeah.
And since after reading your blog post, I went and found it. Amazing. What a court.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
with
We'll put pictures of it on the site to go with this, but just what a place.
Yeah.
I'd call it a secret. I'd call it a secret of Paris.
Yeah, but I just avoid using that word. But
Fair enough. And then, so from that, the next one I read, and maybe was a link to it on the side, was this one about, and this is something I'm going to get you to explain, but the chasseroux.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to have a go at explaining it? Because it's a really hard thing to explain. But anyone that's listening now, I guarantee you that once you've heard this, you're going to think about it and see it everywhere that you go in Paris. And this was a challenge as well.
Yeah, I think after I'd been doing the blog for a couple of years, I started getting quite a lot of emails from people asking me questions about things that they'd seen in Paris during visits that they'd wondered about and then forgotten about, and then maybe reading the blog, they'd thought, oh,
This guy,
maybe this guy could...
Invisible Paris could figure it out. The Paris detective.
Yeah, I did use that.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought that's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Maybe that could work. But
So what happened?
yeah, so I got a mail saying, with some photos, when I was in Paris last, I started seeing all of the chasseroux, which were so what you have is the porte cochère, which were the big doors where the horses and carts,
So these are the big
stagecoaches,
street doors that lead into apartments. And all
generally,
this, right?
you can get smaller ones, but
Yeah.
generally they were the big doors that led through to the courtyards where they ran through the horses and the coaches and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so on either side, at the foot of the archway, you've got like this amazing variety of forms, stone, iron, whatever, which basically stop the cart wheels crashing into the
Breaking the
sides
wall down.
Yeah,
right?
breaking the wall down.
So they're like little, and they're all different shapes, and
Yeah.
they're all different sizes, and some are made of stone, some are made of, all sorts of things,
Yeah.
right? And so this guy wrote into you and said, what are they?
And specifically, his question was, and what are they called?
Right, he
Which
wanted
was
the name of it.
Which was more difficult to find out.
How did you do it?
Just
Nowadays it's easy because your blog was there.
Yeah.
Anyone that's Googling it will find it, but what did you do?
it's just basically searches,
Yeah.
online cross-referencing,
Yeah.
and eventually you break it down and you find some reference to it. And
So-
that's it. That's
So I've been living in Paris for 2.5 years, I think, and every time I see one, I think about this. I don't even know. I just look at them and I just think back to seeing them online. It's like, but I forgot what they were for, and I liked having the mystery of forgetting their name and what they were for, but just seeing them around and thinking that's a Paris mystery to me. But anyway, yeah. So you get people that send you in these things, and you kind of go to great lengths to solve these mysteries. Why are you doing this for people?
Well, the original idea of the blog anyway was it was something I was doing myself anyway, just sort of wandering aimlessly around Paris, observing
flaneur.
things. Yeah.
Right.
Photographing things, and so the blog just gave me an excuse for doing it in a way, and then after I'd been somewhere to try and find out as much as I could about the place and to find the story behind the place, the object, whatever. So I was doing that for myself. So I thought, well, if other people maybe they're not in Paris and I'm in a sort of privileged position, maybe, then if they have any questions, things they want me to do, then why not? I'll look into it, see what I can do, and maybe these are little things that people have been thinking about for years.
I've actually got 2 Paris mysteries for you.
Uh-huh.
Right, I'm going to put you on the spot to see if you can help me. So the first one may be really easy, but have you noticed that some toilets in bars, like the actual toilet, the toilet seats are missing?
Yeah.
There are loads of them are missing all across Paris. And I asked a friend when I first moved here, I said, why are they not, like neither the lid or the inner lid, they're missing. And she told me, and I took it as gospel when she said it, that people steal them for their apartments. She said people are missing toilet seats and they take them.
I wouldn't.
So I mean,
really
you don't
like
have
to
your
think about that.
you don't have your research tools, but what's your inkling on that one?
No, my guess would just be that it's too much trouble to clean.
Don't you think that's weird?
So
Do you think that's weird that these places don't have it?
I think they want to discourage people from
People
using
sitting
their
on
toilets,
toilet
really.
seats?
So, yeah.
It's kind of weird. No?
Is that just a Paris thing?
I don't know. Well, that's
know.
the only place I've seen it. The producer's looking confused as well. Well, maybe it's just the kind of bars that I go
Yeah.
to. Okay, second Paris
It's
mystery.
a step up from the old Turkish toilet.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Fair enough. The second mystery, it's not yet typical mystery, but it's something that happened to me today, and I need to get it off my chest. Banks.
Yeah.
French banks in general. What's
Yeah.
the deal there?
I haven't been in a French bank for about 10 years.
Really?
It's
You know-
all online.
I went into one today because I wanted to deposit money, and I had cash, and they said they don't take money in the afternoons.
in August.
In any time. I said, like I thought, this is a bank, surely he's like kidding or whatever. And he said, no, you can only do it from 9 till 12. You have to come in tomorrow. And I said, why? And then he spoke really quick French. I don't know what he said, but it was an excuse. They just don't take cash. It's a mystery.
Well, I think when they have the guys come around collecting the cash in the morning,
Yeah,
or
but
something, they
surely-
don't want the cash staying on the.
Do you think it's weird?
I
A
don't
bank
think
that
you.
doesn't take money?
I'm not sure you were there to pay in 50,000.
No,
euros or
exactly,
something.
right? They didn't. Anyway. Okay, what I wanted to ask you was, what is one of the mysteries that you've solved that's stuck with you for some reason? Take me on a journey.
Some of my favourite ones were. I think I'm going to start sounding like an old train spotter or
Yeah, okay,
an
go on. Then.
obsessive, but
No, but get nerdy.
I
tell
like
me.
to do the whole sort of journey.
Yep.
It's another train sort of reference, but this me, it starts with postcards.
Okay.
So you go to these postcard fairs in Paris, and some strange people in there that hang around.
What do you mean by postcard? You mean people that are
Well,
selling?
it's kind of like vintage postcard
Right,
fairs. So
right.
They're fairly frequent in Paris. You go along, you get these real obsessives, these guys that are hanging around the boxes, and then when you start looking through there, you can see they're getting really nervous because they're thinking that you're going to put your finger on that postcard that they've been looking for 25 years.
Wow. But these are, hang on, just so I understand, these are like written postcards that people...
Yeah. So
okay, yeah.
so they can be anything from 19th century to 1950s or something.
Okay.
So from time to time I go through, I flick through these, and most of the sort of vintage Paris postcards that you see are, the city looks pretty much the same as it does today. So
No mystery there.
No mystery there. So I'm flicking through, and until I find something of something I've never seen before, a different part of the city. So one day I found a postcard of a view from a window looking down onto Pont Neuf on the Seine.
Right. Fun fact, it means New Bridge, but it's the oldest bridge in Paris.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Continue.
There it's misty in the background as well.
Right.
So I'm thinking, what's this? And I turn the postcard round, and it says that it was a promotional postcard for a book that was written in the 1950s from this author I'd never heard of. So
Okay.
buy the postcard for about 50 cents or something, and then
While the owner is fretting that you found something that's...
I don't think that one was much in
Okay.
demand really. And so then I start, my research, who's this author, what was this book, etc. And I eventually, quite quickly, you can find the book, the story of the book, that it was written by an author, a woman called Peggy Mann, who had a very brief writing career, and then she'd died in the 1980s in America. So I thought, maybe the story ends there, but then I found she had a daughter who was actually living in France.
All right.
And so I contacted the daughter, who was amazed that anybody had tracked down the story of her
Wow.
mum, and eventually this led to things, and we met in Paris, and she gave me copies of the books and all this sort of archive material
Wow.
of her family, and we even went into the hotel where she'd written the book, and
That's so cool.
so it was just from one postcard leads to so many different things. So that's my favourite kind of mystery to solve. But
That's cool. It makes you think about how many stories there are in Paris
that's what
or
sort
in
of
France.
interests me the most. Yeah, to really uncover these stories.
And
of
imagine
Paris.
that in those boxes, the whole fair full of postcards, just how many stories, not to mention what's written on the postcards,
Yeah.
which is maybe the most uninteresting part of it all, but this,
Yeah. So I've done a few postcards like that to try and find stories. So
Brilliant.
I think maybe there's a book in that. So,
Yeah. Speaking of book, there's a brand new book on the table here. Paris Cityscopes Guide. What's going on here? This is a new book. You've written it.
Yeah, so it's just out now. So
Living the blogger's dream. You were contacted to write this book.
yeah. So it was Reaction Books in London
Right.
contacted me to see if I'd be interested in working on their Paris guide for their Cityscope series. So,
And what is the book offering if you had to sell it
so it's
to a book buyer?
Yeah, it's technically a guide, but I'd say it's on its own in this, because it's around half the book is the history of Paris, condensed into 10 chapters.
Tough ask.
Tough ask.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And afterwards you get some essays on today's city, on various themes. That's the Sunday in Paris,
Right.
the Champs-Élysées, from why it was such an important street.
Can you give me the rundown on it, or is that giving away the book? Why is it so important? What's the story? What's the essay?
Okay, so the Champs-Élysées was sort of the early 20th century, mid 20th century, was known as the Avenue du Cinéma, because it had, the whole street was 10, 15, 20 cinemas on there.
Really?
So this was
Are there still cinemas on the Champs-Élysées?
so there's 5 or 6 chain cinemas today,
Right.
the big ones. But then there's also, and this is kind of the theme of the chapter, is Le Balzac Cinema,
Okay.
just off the Champs-Élysées, which is sort of one of the last remaining independent cinemas on the right bank today.
Oh, cool.
And particularly the guy who's run the cinema for the last 40 years, and it's been in his family for about 60, 70 years.
Okay, so this isn't your guidebook to Paris about here's the new cafe that you have to go
No.
to. This is a bit more from the Paris detective who's looked into the city and knows the stories about it.
I try to tell stories where
Yeah.
I can. That's
Okay, well done. And that's available. Where do you buy it? In bookshops, online?
it's online, Amazon, other,
We'll put a link to it.
and hopefully in some shops in Paris
Yeah.
soon as well.
What's the sort of the mecca of bookshops that authors want to be in Paris? Is it Shakespeare and Company?
I guess that would.
Is that
be
where you
the-
wanna be?
Yeah.
What's the big one on the on Rivoli? Is that W.H.
W.H.
Smith?
Smith.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I guess that. I mean, you'd be doing some good trade in there.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a feeling in Shakespeare and Company, everyone just goes in to be in there and to look around. Are they selling a lot of books? I've
Yeah,
been
I
in
don't-
there before with tourists, and we go in and we have a look around. We go, oh, there's beds upstairs. Oh, there's a piano. All
I've
right,
been
let's
in
go.
the bedrooms as well. So.
Yeah, people used to. I don't know. You still
Yeah,
sleeping there?
people. Yeah, they invite writers to come and spend the weekend or longer.
Did you write about that in your book?
No.
No. It's weird because when I said that, you were looking at your book, and I
No,
thought
that's not
maybe
it.
it was the look of, oh, I should have put it in there. Or no. Okay, I think what we need to do is we need to finish this with the regular feature, the quickfire round,
Okay.
where I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and you're not allowed to think about anything. You just have to answer. 2 of them I got written down, and the
That's
rest I'm just gonna go with. Right? Okay. First is what is your top hidden mystery about this city? Not secret. I didn't use the word secret. What's something that you love to show people or tell people that they didn't know about Paris?
I think my favourite is the Jardin d'Agronomie Tropicale, which
one's
It's
that?
technically in Paris, but it's way out. You have to go to Nogent-sur-Marne on the Aria.
Which direction are we talking?
We're east,
Okay.
and so you're right on the edge of the Bois de Vincennes.
Is this the one that used to be a human zoo?
Yep, that's the
Oh,
one.
I love this one. Tell this one. Forget the quickfire round for a second.
Yeah,
Can you
so
still
it's-
go there?
Yeah, you can still get the way it was. It was closed until the 1980s, and then it's slowly been reopened as a public park. But there's never anybody there. It's a really quiet place. But you've basically got these ruins from the 1906 colonial exhibition that was held in Paris on that site. So basically, you had all of the French colonies.
So they used to exhibit humans
Yeah,
from
from
the
one
French
summer,
colonies.
from May to October, they built some sort of typical architecture from different parts of their colonies, and they had people come and live there.
Wow. So they had, like, for example, let's say Maasai tribesmen in the Bois de Vincennes, basically.
Yeah, they were just there. Elephants that went down slides. And
Really?
things like that. Yeah.
And so now, if I were to go, because I tried to go there once when I
It's
first.
difficult to find.
Have you written about this on your blog?
Yeah.
'Cause maybe that's where I found it. And then I once was out there on a Velib bicycle,
Yeah.
and I was looking at Google Maps, and I couldn't figure out where to go, and I never found it, which added to it for me. It made it
There's only
more of a
one
mystery.
Yeah. There's main entrance. He's got this Chinese arch. You can
And then
sort
what
of
do you see
vaguely
when you get in? This is the longest quickfire round we've ever done. But that's
So
all right.
you see all these different ruins because they've never been able to. One or two have been refurbished, but most of them are burnt ruins. But they can't touch them because they're
Then they're hiding history.
yeah. So you can't really get rid of this.
Their sins.
Yeah, but
Wow.
and it's a nice park.
So how do you
as well.
get
It's very
there?
quiet. You go to Nogent-sur-Marne.
Okay.
You go out the rear exit. You just take the first street on the right, and it leads directly to the.
You can't
to
really
the
get there
garden.
on a Velib, can you?
Yeah, I think there's a Vélib station just next to it, but you have to cross the whole Bois de Vincennes.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling fit,
Technically, is that still Paris?
it is.
Did you just give me a
Good.
Paris secret that's outside the periphery?
No, it's run by the city of Paris.
That's so cool. Okay, we got to do 4 real quick ones now. What's a common misconception about Paris or Parisians or anything that needs to be cleared up?
I think the first thing I noticed was I always had this idea that the French were radical free thinkers and
But they're not.
they're quite conservative.
Oh, how does that manifest itself?
particularly in the working environment and things.
How do you mean?
So when I was way back in my young years as an English teacher, I turned up in the French company to give some English lessons, and I had an earring. In those
Right.
days, it's wow, I need an earring. And the company actually phoned the language school and said, "Don't send us back an English teacher with an earring
Wow.
ever again."
Don't send this punk back.
Yeah,
Wow, okay.
and it was like, wow, okay.
Things have changed surely
So
now,
all
though.
this, I don't know.
No?
Yeah.
Wow.
But, yeah.
Okay, 3 more questions. I'm going to have to make it easy. Where do you live? Or what area?
Belleville.
Belleville. Oh, okay. What's the coolest restaurant to go see in Belleville / cafe?
Oh, it's
You're not a restaurant cafe kind of guy.
you know, once you have kids,
Oh. Where's the best park to take kids in Belleville?
Park de Belleville is great. Yeah,
Is that the one with the big view over the Eiffel Tower?
you get the view across the city
That's
from the
got to
top.
be one of the biggest secrets in terms of parks in
But
this
I
whole
mean,
city.
That's sort of my daily life almost. So you kind of forget about these things. But yeah, that's definitely a place to discover.
What else? Tell me 2 other things to see in Belleville, and we'll call it a day. Belleville, which is quickly becoming the trendiest part in the city, by the way. You heard it here first. You're looking at me like I'm wrong.
No, it's changed a lot. Yeah, it's
Right.
changing.
What else? What else can I see there? Tour guides are starting to give tours there.
You've got Le Président, the Chinese restaurant that's really quite kitsch.
Oh, yeah.
And it's called Le Président, and when you go in there, you've got these photos of people that have been there, and you've got François Mitterrand, and
Cool.
Sarkozy.
So
and,
the presidents have actually been there to eat.
yeah.
Did they call it president first?
I
and then
don't know
just-
I don't know if it was after François Mitterrand, or if it had a different name before, but you go up this quite impressive staircase, and it's like you're in Hong Kong somewhere. It's all,
Cool.
but the people there, and they're really friendly. And,
Got to check that one out. Okay, last question. Favorite metro station in Paris and why?
I've never thought about that before.
Good. All the better.
I'll say Belleville, because
Belleville.
it's home.
Well, fair enough. Good answer, I think. Fair enough. Getting a nod of the head from the producer, so something's going right. I think we can wrap it up there.
Okay.
Paris Detective, Adam Roberts, book out now. And the site, what is it? Is it invisibleparis.com?
Yeah, .com, .net,
Whatever you want, it'll
Yeah.
work. .co.uk.
maybe.
Go, give it a try. Okay, well, thanks for being on the show. And looking forward to reading the book.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Thanks for having me on.
So we've got a few minutes left, and if my calculations are correct, Corey Fry should be standing outside. He's in.
He's in.
There
Always
he
on
is.
time.
Corey, what brilliant time. Could you hear us from out there?
Oh yeah, I'm constantly stalking you, my friend.
Did you see Adam Roberts on the way out?
I did. I saw Adam, yeah.
What a blog.
I mean, fortunately he did, because I don't know where he would have gone otherwise.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, would he have flied out the
Maybe
out
he took
window or
the
something?
elevator. You know there's an elevator.
Is that you have to
I hope
show
not,
me
because I
around.
just slept up
Yeah.
a lot of stairs, my
Yeah, if
friend.
anyone's forgotten, it's 7 6 floors.
6 floors.
6 floors.
Yeah.
Anyway, Invisible Paris. That was Adam Roberts. Interesting talk.
Yeah, so I love this guy. I think he and I are actually cut from the same cloth because we both love a good Paris story.
Indeed.
And I want to share with you guys really my all-time favorite story, my favorite legend of Paris.
Can I guess that it's going to be dark?
It's
Is it going to be set in the 1700s?
not quite as dark as the other one, but it's very intriguing. I think you guys will like this one. So, a lot of people don't know that when royal family members died back in the day in France, before they were buried, certain organs would be removed from their body, including the heart. The heart was always a symbol of a person's love and courage and faith and power. So the hearts would be embalmed, actually. They'd be mummified, preserved, and they'd be put on display throughout Paris and the major cities of France. So such was the case with many, many hearts, including the princes and duchesses and whatnot. And there was one chapel in southern Paris called the Val de Grâce, and it had up to 45 royal hearts, mummified hearts put on display. Okay, so the subjects would come, pay their respects to them, and pray to these royal hearts. Now, the French Revolution blew into town and all of that fervor, and they ransacked and pillaged these chapels. So all of a sudden, the royal embalmed hearts went missing. They vanished.
A royal flush.
Oh, yeah. Well done. That's why you're the host, and I'm just a measly guest. James looks a bit dumbfounded.
Not bad. I got it.
Yeah. So what happened was, according to a legend that I love, some of those stolen embalmed hearts would end up in a very peculiar place. There was an artist named Martin Drolling, and he was living in Saint-Germain-des-Prés near the Bon Marché. He had a studio there. So he's in his studio working and gets a knock on his door one night, and he opens the door. Under the cover of darkness, some revolutionaries are trying to sell him the stolen embalmed hearts of the royal family. So why would they try to sell these hearts to an artist? Well, artists back in that time, pre-revolution, were looking for a very rare pigment, a kind of paint called mummy brown. And the only way you could create mummy brown paint was to import pharaoh's organs from Egyptian tombs.
Wow.
Yeah, this is real. And you would grind up those bits of mummified human matter and you'd make a beautiful brown glaze. And all of these artists really wanted it. So this guy, Martin Drolling...
Did they say whose heart they were selling at the time?
Yes.
They did?
Yes.
So you can have some brown version Louis XIV.
Well, we're getting there, my friend.
Oh.
So what he did was he bought, according to the legend, he buys these hearts and he proceeds to paint with some of that royal human matter. Now, there is a painting today that the Louvre owns, and you can actually go into the Louvre.
Is it Mona Lisa?
It's not the Mona Lisa. No, that would be too obvious, my friend. It's called Interior of a Kitchen by Martin Drolling. And if you're so inclined, you can track this down in the Louvre. According to their website, it moves around in the galleries. According to their website, it's in the French painting section in room 58. If you want to go try to track it down, it has all these luscious browns. It's a mother and her 2 daughters in the kitchen. And they say that if the legend's true, it was royal hearts that were used to paint that pigment into the canvas.
Wow.
So do we know whose?
There are different theories. Probably not the big kings. These were more of the duchesses and the princes and things that were at the Val de Grâce.
Can you imagine people going around with big waistcoats and a couple of hearts in them? Hey.
The heart sellers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Heart
quite
sellers.
the...
knocking on people's doors.
Do you know, I met a guy the other day that works in the Louvre, and he's just one of the guys that sits on the seat. That's all he does. You know, they don't really do anything. And people come and say, he says, can you guess what the question is that everyone asked him?
Where's the bathroom?
Where's the Mona Lisa? That's all they ask him.
So yeah, anyway, guys, that is by far my favorite legend, and I do hope it's true.
What's the name of the painting again?
It's called Interior of a Kitchen by Martin Drolling.
In room 58.
Room 58.
Well,
Well,
it moves.
And it goes on loan, but the museum won't acknowledge this legend, by the way, because they could test it for the DNA.
Yeah.
But they don't think it's worth.
Fascinating. Oh, I like that one.
That was a top story.
That was
I could
a good
see.
one.
Yeah, you guys were riveted with that one. I'm
top
glad.
story. From
I wasn't
Corey.
even interrupting like usual. I was sitting there wide-eyed. But yeah, we'll have a picture of the painting on the site. You want more from Corey? Do one of his tours, or just listen to the last 5 minutes of every episode this season, or season 1, episode 7, when you were on the show. Remember that?
Yeah,
That's when we met.
That was great.
That was a while back, wasn't it?
Way back when.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to join me for a tour or meet me online and just have a chat, a French Fry in Paris, Facebook, and my blog.
Skype.
Just Skype me, yeah. I'm coming out of the shower, whatever you need. I mean, it's good to go.
Well, there you go. Corey's
Or
story.
come on the show.
Come on the show.
Or come on the show.
What do you mean?
Why not invite someone on the show if they want to meet Corey?
Yeah, they can
Wanna
come
hear
in
the
every
story?
week. He's here.
Yeah.
Just come at the end, hang in
Or
the
meet
corridor
us.
with him. No one wants to meet us, James. Great story, Corey. Looking forward to seeing you next week.
I will see you in a week.
And thanks very much for coming in. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. You know what to do. The Earful Tower. with Oliver G and sidekick James Vezina.
Et voilà.
Voila.
Earful Tower with Oliver G.